the stranger in the storm. One night was all she had to offer. The wind screamed through the broken buildings. Rain fell like cold bullets from the sky. The world outside was dark, wet, and dangerous. Lightning flashed, showing empty streets and crumbling walls. Inside a small, forgotten house, an old man sat in silence. His name was Iran. He lived alone. He had no family, no friends. Only the past lived with him. A fire burned weakly in the corner. The windows were covered with metal sheets. The world had changed long ago. Aliens had taken control of Earth. Humans were hunted, watched, and kept like animals. But Iran had escaped that life. He had hidden himself from the world. Then came a knock, a hard, fast knock on the door. Not just one. It came again, louder, urgent. Iran stood up slowly. He hadn't heard a knock in 5 years. He picked up a small laser pistol from the table. He moved toward the door without a sound. "Please," a voice cried from outside. A woman's voice, shaking. "They're coming." "I don't have time." Iran paused. Then he opened the door a little. A woman stood there, dripping with rain. Her hair was wet and stuck to her face. Her eyes were wide with fear. She looked young, maybe 30. She wore a dark jacket with tears and burns. Iran looked behind her. Nothing but rain and shadows. Still, something felt wrong. "They're tracking me," she whispered. "But I didn't bring them here, I swear." Iran didn't speak. He only moved aside. The woman rushed in, falling to her knees. He closed the door and locked it tight. The house fell quiet again. The woman shivered near the fire. Iran watched her carefully. She didn't look like a soldier. She didn't look strong. But her eyes held something else, something he knew very well. Survival. "My name is Rhea," she said softly. "I'm not a threat." Iran nodded once. He sat back in his chair. "Why were they chasing you?" he asked. Rhea looked down. "They caught my brother," she said. "He had something they wanted, and now they think I have it too." Iran didn't ask more. He knew the less he knew, the better. But he also knew one thing. If the aliens had marked her, they would come soon. "You can stay tonight," he said. "No more." Rhea gave a weak smile. "One night is more than I had," she whispered. Hours passed. Iran gave her dry clothes, simple food, and a blanket. Rhea sat by the fire, sometimes looking at the door, sometimes closing her eyes. Iran stayed awake. He cleaned his pistol and checked the old scanner hidden behind a painting. The scanner showed movement in the distance, too far to be sure, but Iran knew the pattern. Patrols. He didn't tell Rhea. No need to panic her. Not yet. "What is this place?" she asked. "It's old, but safe." "This house used to belong to fighters," Iran said. "Before the fall." "You mean rebels?" "Yes," he said. "A long time ago." Rhea was quiet. Then she whispered, "Thank you, Iran." Iran didn't answer. He looked at the fire. So many people had thanked him before. Not all of them lived to say it again. A loud beep broke the silence. Iran jumped to his feet. The scanner flashed red. Multiple signals, approaching fast. "They're close," he said, his voice calm but cold. He shut off the lights and pulled Rhea into the back room. It had walls lined with thick steel and an old rebel sensor jammer. He switched it on. A low hum filled the air. Outside, red lights danced through the storm. A ship hovered quietly above the house. 3 tall, thin creatures stepped out. Alien soldiers. They moved without sound, scanning every inch of the street. One of them stopped at Iran's door. It lifted a scanner. Inside, Rhea held her breath. Iran stood still, pistol ready. The red light passed over the door, then paused, beeping. Rhea looked at Iran, her eyes wide. "Do they know?" She mouthed. Iran didn't blink. The beeping grew louder. The scanner sparked, then shut down. The signal was blocked. The alien tilted its head, confused, then turned and walked away. The ship rose back into the clouds. The red lights vanished. Into the storm. Inside the house. The hum stopped. Rhea finally breathed. "You saved me," she whispered. Iran looked at her and said nothing. The fire crackled again in the dark. But something had changed. The past had come back. And it was only the beginning. Memories he never shared asterisk. The storm had passed. But the silence was worse. It felt like the world was holding its breath. Iran sat by the cold fire, staring into the ashes. Rhea slept on the floor nearby, wrapped. In an old blanket, she looked peaceful. But Iran knew better. Peace didn't last in a world like this. His hands trembled slightly as he held an old metal box. He hadn't opened it in years. Dust covered the edges. But the lock still worked. Clicking, inside were pieces of a life he had buried. A photo of a team, all wearing rebel jackets. A broken dog tag, and a small patch. A white star crossed with red lightning, the symbol of the last human strike unit. He used to be one of them. Rhea's voice broke the silence. What was that noise? Iran quickly closed the box. "Just the fire," he said, not turning around. She sat up, rubbing her eyes. "I couldn't sleep," she whispered. "I keep seeing their faces." "Who?" he asked, even though he knew. "The patrol." She said, "The way they looked at the house, like they knew I was here." Iran didn't reply. Instead, he reached into a drawer and pulled out a black wristband. He tossed it to her. "Put that on. It will mask your heat and pulse." Rhea stared at it, then slowly slipped it on. "How do you have all this tech?" Iran looked at her, his eyes dark and tired. "This house isn't just a house," he said. "It was a safe house, long ago." "For who?" she asked. "For people like you," he said. "On the run, hunted, marked." Rhea hesitated. "You've helped others?" Iran nodded. 10 over the years, he said. "Some made it out, some didn't." Rhea stood up, walking slowly around the room. She touched the wall, ran her hand along the cold stone. "There's something buried here," she said almost to herself. "I can feel it." Iran didn't answer. She turned to him. "Why are you really helping me?" He paused, then he said, "Because once someone helped me too." The words hung in the air like smoke. But before she could ask more, the old radio on the shelf sparked to life, crackling static, then a low, whispering voice. "She carries the code. She carries the key." Rhea stepped back. What the hell was that? Iran grabbed the radio, slammed the switch. The voice stopped. "That's not possible," he muttered. "This frequency is dead. Was it alien tech?" Rhea asked, her voice shaking. "No," Iran said. "Worse, it was human." She blinked. Confused. "What do you mean?" Iran stood slowly. "There's a group out there," he said. "They're not with the aliens, but they're not with us either." "Rogue humans?" He nodded. "They think the war is already lost," he said. "They trade people like you to stay alive." Rhea's hands clenched into fists. "They want the drive." Iran looked at her sharply. "You said your brother had something," he said. "Is that what you brought here?" Rhea hesitated. Then she pulled a thin metal strip from her jacket lining. She placed it on the table. It glowed blue, pulsing like a heartbeat. "This," she said, "is the only backup copy of the Liberation Protocol." Aaron froze. He hadn't heard that name in years. It was a myth, a legend among rebels, a signal code strong enough to disrupt alien drones, weapons, and control towers for 5 minutes. 5 minutes was enough to start a revolution. "Why do you have it?" he asked. "My brother died for it," she said. "Now I'm supposed to deliver it to the last rebel base, but I don't even know where it is." Aaron looked down at the glowing strip. "You don't need to know," he said, "because I do." Rhea's eyes widened. "You were one of them," she whispered. You were part of the liberation. Iran nodded slowly. Until we were betrayed, he said, and until I ran. A sudden sound outside made them both freeze. A faint humming, not from the sky, but from under the ground. Iran's eyes narrowed. That's not alien tech, he said. It's a signal scanner, Rhea added. It's looking for the drive. They both moved at once, grabbing the strip and cutting the lights. In the shadows, Iran opened a floor hatch. We need to move, he said. Now, Rhea followed him down into the dark tunnel. But as the hatch closed above them, the scanner stopped. A figure stood outside the house. In a long coat, his face hidden, he touched the wall where Rhea had slept and smiled. She has it, he whispered into a comm device. Send the hunters. The mark they can't remove. One night was all she had to offer. The tunnel was cold. The walls were tight, like the earth was trying to crush them. Water dripped from above, echoing through the darkness. Iran led the way, holding a small light that barely cut the black. Rhea followed, clutching the drive close to her chest. She tried to stay calm, but her skin burned. A strange heat spread through her left hand. She stopped, breathing hard. What's wrong? Iran asked without turning. My hand, she said. It's burning. He turned around and lifted her sleeve. There it was, glowing under her skin, a red symbol like a brand, a perfect circle with 3 slashes. Iran's face went pale. They marked you, he said quietly. I don't understand, Rhea whispered. How? I didn't see them touch me. They didn't have to, Iran said. The patrol outside your brother's hideout. They use drones now, nanomarkers. Silent tags that enter your skin when you're scanned. Rhea stepped back, panicking. So they can track me? Even underground? Iran grabbed her arm. Not here, he said. This tunnel is shielded. For now. They kept moving, deeper into the earth. But the mark still pulsed under her skin, like a warning. It wasn't just tech. It felt alive, after. What felt like hours, they reached an old metal door. Iran punched in a code. It opened with a hiss, revealing a wide underground room filled with old screens, power cells, and broken chairs. This was a command post, he said, long dead. But it might still help us. Rhea sat on a crate, breathing hard. Her hands still glowed. I can't carry this mark, she said. It will bring them to everyone I meet. Iran walked over to an old console. He turned knobs, flipped switches, and finally found what he was looking for. A scanner and a purifier. This might hurt, he said. Walking back, he placed her hand into a metal ring. A machine came alive with a low hum. The red light from the mark flickered and grew brighter. Suddenly, a screen flashed red. Access denied level 9 BIOT. Iran stepped back, shocked. They upgraded their tech, he said. This isn't just a tracker anymore. What is it? Rhea asked, her voice shaking. It's a key, he said. You weren't just marked. They need you alive. Rhea looked at her hand, horrified. Alive for what? Whatever is inside that drive, Iran said. Your body is now the only thing that can unlock it. A low beep came from the far wall. The motion scanner. Iran turned his head slowly. A shape moved just outside the tunnel. Too slow to be a drone. Too quiet to be human. They found us, he whispered. But how? Rhea stood up. It's the mark, she said. Even if the signal can't pass through the walls, something is calling to it. Iran looked at the purifier again. It can't remove the mark, he said, but maybe it can contain it. He pulled a thick ring-shaped device from a hidden drawer. Put this on your wrist. She did. The device clicked shut. Instantly, the burning stopped. The glow dimmed under her skin, trapped beneath a layer of blue light. But outside, something growled. Then the tunnel shook. Rocks fell from the ceiling. A loud hiss echoed through the door. They were cutting through it. Iran grabbed a rifle from the wall. "Time to run," he said. Rhea hesitated. "I don't want to run anymore," she said. "I want to fight." Iran looked at her, really looked, not as a scared girl on the run, but as someone willing to rise. Even with fear in her eyes, he nodded. "Then you need to see something?" he said. He pressed a hidden panel. The floor opened, revealing a second tunnel. "Older, deeper. This leads to the vault," he said, "where the original rebels stored the master codes." "And you think they're still there?" "I know they are," he said, "because I was the one who locked the vault." A screech came from behind the steel door. Then silence. Then footsteps, slow and clicking. They dropped into the second tunnel. Just as the first door exploded, dust filled the room, and stepping through it came a tall, dark shape with burning silver eyes. It wasn't alien. It wasn't human either. Iran looked back once. "They've sent a hunter," he whispered. "A living machine." Rhea gripped his arm. "Then we better find those codes." They ran into the blackness below, with a mark that couldn't be removed, and a machine that never stopped. The message from the other side asterisk. The tunnel curved downward. Deeper than Rhea thought possible. The air grew colder with each step. The silence was no longer peaceful. It was heavy, almost alive, behind them. The hunter followed, quiet but unstoppable. Its steps were slow, but it never lost their trail. Iran's light flickered as they reached a massive metal door. It was buried beneath layers of dust and time. Symbols were carved into the steel, the same rebel emblem Rhea had seen in Iran's old box. "This is it," he said, placing his hand on the scanner panel. It blinked red, then green. The door slid open with a long, aching groan. Inside was a dark chamber, part vault, part tomb. Rows of data cores lined the walls, all dead. In the center stood a glowing pedestal with one last active drive pulsing dimly. But before Iran could step forward, the drive responded to Rhea's presence. It lit up the room with a soft blue light. "Looks like it was waiting for you," Iran said. Rhea placed the strip, the liberation protocol, onto the pedestal. It clicked into place. The room trembled. Then a voice echoed through hidden speakers, old, broken, human. "If you're hearing this, it means hope is still alive," the voice said. "My name is Commander Dax Varel, leader of Earth's final resistance." Rhea's mouth opened in shock. "That's my brother's name," she whispered. Iran turned sharply. "What?" "I didn't lie," she said. "My brother died carrying this drive, but I never told you his full name." The hologram flickered to life. A man appeared, scarred, tired, but strong. It was Dax. He looked directly at them. "If my sister is with you," he said, "then the protocol survived." Iran's eyes widened. "He recorded this before he died," Dax continued. "This message contains the location of the hidden rebel core, the last free humans. But the aliens are evolving, adapting faster than we thought. They've created biohunters, machines mixed with human DNA. They can smell fear, track memory, feed on guilt." Rhea stepped back, her skin crawling. "They don't just follow our heat," she said. "They follow our thoughts." Dax's voice deepened. "If they've sent one after you, you must not stop. You must reach the core. They carry the final weapon." Iran frowned. "What weapon?" The hologram shifted, showing a complex design. "A beacon with 3 rings. The beacon of Virel," Dax said. "Once powered, it can send the liberation code across the planet, disabling all alien systems at once. But there's one condition," he added. "It needs a living signature to activate." Rhea looked down at her marked hand. "Me," she said quietly. "That's why they marked me." "Not just marked," Iran said slowly. "You were chosen." The hologram faded. The final words of Dax echoed in the chamber. "You have one shot, and the whole world is counting on it." Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed through the vault. Aaron pulled Rhea back. They're trying to trace the broadcast. Rhea grabbed the strip and ran as the door sealed. Behind them, the ground shook again, but this time it wasn't from the hunter. It was from above. They're dropping troops, Aaron said. They know where we are now. Rhea followed him through another tunnel, this one steeper, carved. Through black stone, she was breathing hard, but her mind raced faster than her feet. My brother built all this? She asked. He helped design the system, Aaron said, but he wasn't alone. He stopped at a narrow chamber lit by flickering lights. There, resting inside a sealed case, was a broken robot, part human, part machine. It looked like it had been torn apart from the inside. Rhea stepped closer. What is this? A prototype, Aaron said. The first hybrid. It betrayed the rebels. As Rhea leaned in, the robot's eyes flickered. Still alive, it spoke one word. Rhea. She stumbled back. It knows me? Aaron aimed his rifle. Don't listen to it, he warned. But the robot turned its head slowly. You are the last signal, it said. You carry what we need. Bennett smiled, and Rhea felt her hand burn through the wrist device. A voice echoed in her head, not through sound, but memory. We see you now. Aaron fired, blowing the machine apart. Smoke filled the room. They didn't speak as they moved on. The deeper they went, the more secrets waited. But the line was clear now. Rhea wasn't just running from death. She was running toward destiny. The house isn't what it seems. The tunnels ended as suddenly as they had begun. Aaron pushed open a rusty hatch, and cool air hit their faces. They stepped out into darkness. But this was not wilderness or wasteland. This was a house, buried beneath the earth, but not just any house. It was the same house where Rhea had first knocked on Aaron's door. Only now it felt different. Wait, Rhea whispered. We circled back? Aaron didn't answer. He walked through the lower level, a place hidden even from the house above. Every wall was lined with tech shields, data hubs, sealed crates with faded rebel stamps. The air thrummed with power, quiet but waiting. This isn't a house, she said slowly. It's a station. Aaron nodded. This was Rebel Core Base 3, he said, built under a safe house, hidden in plain sight. Rhea walked to a glass panel and saw the room where she had slept, just one floor above. They were watching me? They watch everything, Aaron replied. This base was meant to record, store, and protect rebel data, even when the surface fell. A console lit up as Aaron approached. He placed the drive inside a slot. A pulse of blue light ran through. The walls suddenly, screens across the room came alive, displaying maps, symbols, enemy coordinates. One screen zoomed in on a blinking dot. Rhea's mark. It's still active, she said, her heart sinking. Not for long, Aaron muttered. He typed commands into the console, faster than she could follow. Are you deleting the signal? No, he said. I'm doing something better. He hit a final key, and the mark on her hand glowed one last time. Then it vanished. Rhea stared in disbelief. It's gone. I didn't remove it, Aaron said. I turned it into a trap. Outside, above the house, something began to beep. A high-pitched sound, growing faster, sharper. A few miles away, the hunter, still tracking, stopped. Its eyes blinked red, then yellow. It tilted its head. Confused then, without warning, the ground beneath it exploded. Rhea jumped as the entire house shook. What was that? A counter-signal mine, Aaron said calmly. This place was designed to fight back, even when no one was left to do it. He walked to a large locker and opened it, revealing weapons. Not just guns, but things she had never seen before. Pulse rifles, neural jammers, armor woven with energy cells. Pick one, he said. If we're going to finish this, you'll need to be more than a runner. Rhea stared at the weapons, overwhelmed. I've never fought, she said. I just survived. Survival is the first skill of any fighter, Iran replied. The rest I can teach. She picked up a smaller rifle. Feeling its weight, it hummed lightly in her hands. Like it recognized her. Just then, the screen flickered. Again, an incoming signal. Encrypted, rebel signature. Iran froze. That's impossible. He opened the channel. The face of an older woman appeared. Warm, sharp-eyed, half-lit by red light. Iran, she said, if you're alive, don't speak, just listen. I'm at Core Base 2. What's left of it? Iran and Rhea stood still, watching. There's not much time, the woman continued. They're using hybrids now, not just hunters. Some of them look like us. Some of them are us. Rhea's blood went cold. They're cloning? Not clones, Iran said slowly. They're rebuilding soldiers using stolen DNA. They're rebuilding the resistance. The woman on the screen continued. If you have the girl, protect her. She is the last clean key. The others have all been corrupted. If they get her, the beacon falls. Then the signal cut out. Silence returned, heavy and sharp. Rhea sank into a chair, her heart pounding. I'm not ready for this, she said. I'm not even sure why I was chosen. Iran crouched. Beside her, you were chosen, he said, because you didn't quit, because you kept moving, even when the world broke. That's what makes you dangerous, not the drive, not the mark. You. A loud clang echoed from above, then another footsteps, but this time, they weren't hiding. This time, they were coming for war. Iran stood, loading his rifle. They know where we are again. Did the signal give? You, SOA? Rhea asked. No, Iran said darkly. Someone else did. He turned toward a hidden hallway, a backup entrance only he had ever used, and it was open. Rhea raised her weapon. What now? Now, he said, we find out who else knows about the beacon. From the dark hall, a shadow stepped forward, and it looked exactly like Rhea. The last line of defense asterisk. The shadow stepped fully into the light, and Rhea froze. She was looking at herself. Same eyes, same face, same voice, but something was missing. Emotion. The copy tilted its head, watching her with calm, unnatural curiosity. Its eyes scanned her like a machine. It spoke softly, perfectly. I am Model R9, it said, adapted for infiltration, communication, and recovery. Mission has ended. Iran raised his weapon. Get behind me, he said to the real Rhea. But she didn't move. She couldn't. The sight of herself standing without fear, without soul, without pain, it froze her deeper than any weapon could. The R9 spoke again. The drive must be returned, it said. You are not equipped to complete your function. Rhea found her voice. I'm not a function, she said, her voice shaking. I'm not a tool. You are never meant to carry the key, the clone replied. You were simply a vessel. Iran fired. The shot hit the wall. The clone had already moved, faster than any human. It flipped behind cover and returned fire. Plasma bolts slicing through the air. Iran ducked and activated the inner shield wall. A blue barrier snapped up between them and the clone. That thing's not just fast, he muttered. It's learning with every second. Rhea snapped out of her shock. She's not just a machine, she said. She's me, my memories, my movements. That means she knows how to predict you, Iran added, but not how to become you. They raced into the next chamber, the beacon room. In the center stood the beacon tower, silent and waiting. 3 energy rings surrounded it, waiting. For the final code, Rhea placed the drive into the terminal. The machine blinked red. Final link required. Life signature sync not complete. The clone's voice echoed from behind them. You are delaying the inevitable. Iran slammed. The door shut and activated the base's auto-defense. Laser grids lit up across the hallway. Spinning turrets locked into place. But deep down, he knew it wouldn't be enough. "She'll find another way in," Aaron said. "That unit's design is perfect for infiltration." "I have to finish the sync," Rhea said. "It needs me fully connected." "You won't." "Have time if she reaches the core," Rhea nodded. Then she took off the pulse band from her wrist, the one suppressing the mark. Immediately, her hand glowed again. The mark burned bright, red as fire. The beacon recognized her. The rings lit up, spinning faster. "Code link accepted," the voice said. "Beacon charging minus 62 seconds." Aaron loaded his last plasma cell into his rifle. "1 minute," he said. "We just need to hold her off for 1 minute." But the wall behind them exploded. The clone stepped through smoke and fire, her face untouched by heat. Aaron fired. Rhea fired. The clone moved like wind, dodging, deflecting, striking. Aaron took a hit to the side. He fell, blood on his lips. "Rhea," he gasped. "Don't let her reach it," Rhea screamed and charged forward. The clone grabbed her by the throat, lifting her off the ground. "You are weak," it said. "You are flawed," Rhea choked, gasping. "But I'm still human," she hissed. She raised her rifle and fired point blank into the clone's chest. Once, twice, 3 times, the clone staggered, sparks flying from its back. It dropped her, but lunged again. This time Rhea didn't run. She fought, hand to hand. She didn't match the clone's strength, but she didn't have to. She hit the panel on the floor, the old override trap. The clone stepped onto it and was electrocuted with a blast of rebel tech. It screamed, a sound that was part her voice, part machine noise. Then it fell. Twitching, broken, Rhea collapsed beside Aaron. Holding his hand, the beacon spoke again. "Code locked, signal ready." Aaron coughed. "You did it," he said. "You became more than what they built." Rhea looked at the beacon, then at him. Tears in her eyes. "No," she said. "I became what they could never understand. Hope." She pressed the final button. A blinding white pulse shot into the sky. It moved through every tower, every ship, every control grid. The alien systems began to fail. Lights dimmed, ships dropped from the sky. And far across the planet, in bunkers, forests, and ruins, humans raised their heads. They heard the signal, and they knew someone had turned the tide. Shelter and hope, the beacon lit the sky like a second sun. Its pulse spread across continents. Every alien control node blinked, glitched, and collapsed. Their machines stopped moving. Their ships fell from the sky like metal rain, and the screams of their empire were silenced by a single signal. But inside the beacon core, everything was quiet. Smoke floated through the air. Screens sparked. Rhea knelt beside Aaron, his breath shallow, his eyes distant. "You have to stay with me," she said, her voice trembling. "It's not over yet," Aaron smiled faintly. "You finished what we started," he whispered. "You lit the flame." "Rest later," she said, gripping his hand. "We still have to find the others," Aaron coughed. "You'll find them," he said. "You are always meant to." Rhea held back tears as the sound of boots echoed above. Not alien, human. A hatch above the beacon room opened. Figures stepped through, armed, alert, scarred, but human. A woman with cybernetic eyes looked down at her. "You Rhea?" she asked, voice strong and careful. Rhea nodded slowly, still holding Aaron's hand. The woman gave a half smile. "We've been listening for weeks," she said. "Didn't think anyone was crazy enough to try lighting the beacon." Rhea stood, shaky but tall. "We weren't crazy," she said, "just tired of hiding." The team moved in, checking systems, guarding doors. They placed Aaron on a hover stretcher, his pulse weak, but still alive. One of them whispered, "We've got him." They led Rhea out of the beacon room, through the old tunnels, up into the broken world above. But it wasn't the same anymore. The skies were blue again. Alien drones lay still like broken statues, and in the distance, For the first time in years, the sound of laughter echoed through the wind. They reached a transport ship, marked with the old Earth resistance flag. Inside were survivors, dozens of them, dirty, hungry, exhausted, but alive. A little girl looked up at Rhea with wide eyes. "Are you the one who turned it off?" she asked. Rhea knelt beside her. "No," she said softly. "I turned it on." The ship rose into the air, flying over green fields where alien towers once stood. They were falling now, one by one, and with every crash, a piece of Earth returned to its people. The woman with cybernetic eyes sat beside Rhea. "We're setting up a real base," she said, "somewhere far, underground, deep. Not just to hide, but to grow." Rhea nodded. "Rebuild, not just survive," she said. The woman looked at her carefully. "You know, there's talk already," she said. "People calling you the flame bearer." Rhea shook her head. "I'm just someone who didn't stop," she said. "Someone who was lucky enough to meet the right people." She looked back toward the wounded Eron, sleeping under a thermal wrap. "He gave us shelter," she said, "and I gave them a signal. But hope came from all of us." The ship moved over broken cities, then over forests growing wild again. And in hidden places, people stepped out of hiding. They stared at the sky with wonder. They held hands again. They lit fires, shared food, began speaking freely once more. Because the signal had done more than stop the machines. It had reminded the world of something they had forgotten. That humans fight best not when they have power, but when they have each other. Rhea stood by the window, her reflection staring back at her. Not the scared girl from that stormy night, but someone new, forged by fear, shaped by loss, but standing in light. She turned to the others in the ship and said, "This is just the beginning." And as the ship soared across the dawn sky, the world below slowly opened its eyes again, because one night was all she had to offer. But in return, humanity found something far greater, a reason to rise again, a reason to hope.